Persona fans are currently eating right now, and I am said Persona fan. A lot of stuff has come out. There was leaks for Persona 6 that came out like a week ago that I kind of took a glance at, but I didn't really see entirely. I just saw what the main character looked like. But before we get into Persona 6, we got the reveal and the actual trailer for Persona 4 Revival. And I have not completed Persona 4 Golden. I actually changed my mind. I'm gonna wait until Revival comes out. The farthest I got, I believe, was Teddy's Palace, where it's kind of like a game-centric palace with the design. Persona 4 Golden, just off what I played so far, I enjoy some parts of the cast. I think what really kind of takes me out of it sometimes is the grinding with this specific style of how they got it. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's like these palaces I'm not too drawn into, or maybe it was the gameplay. I'm not really sure. It wasn't really grabbing me as much as Persona 3 or Persona 5. Persona 3 and Persona 5 to me are fantastic games, especially their remix. Persona 5 Royal, which is the extension that got me into the Persona series, which I got into it through Afro Senju. I don't know how or what, like I saw that maybe do it, maybe it was like his intro. I got into it and I love the game. To me, it has the best aesthetic and probably my favorite. I would say maybe gameplay would probably be the best description of why I love Persona 5. And just like, I guess it was a nuance of just me playing for the first time that really grabbed my attention. Persona 3, I love that cast. Something about that cast just really grabs you as soon as you see them, especially with Makoto. His design is just something that you would get familiar with when it comes to anime. And then, of course, Akihiko's a great character. Shinji was probably my favorite out of all of them. Even though he was short-lived, he was still amazing. Shinjiro was unbelievable as a character. I was not expecting that. And then, of course, some of the other villains and antagonists I enjoy for the most part. And the themes of Persona is what ultimately makes it such a put-together game, because you find out the themes of all of these stories put together and everything makes sense from the beginning to the end. Persona 4 Revival, I don't know how, but it just looks better than almost Reload. And that's saying a lot because Reload looks amazing. I think what really makes this one stand out as far as like visuals, of course, there's more time put into it. It's, probably upgraded graphics, technology, all that extra stuff. But I think it's really the colors. The colors, Persona 4 has a brighter color, I don't want to say story, because even though I do know how Persona 4, I guess like the big reveal, the big twist, just the nature of it. It's very inviting, it's warm, it's a complete contrast to Persona 3, which was intended, because I'd imagine after Persona 3 having a theme of death and how to accept it and how to go about it, and just kind of like just accepting the nature of death, going into Persona 4, which is a lot more friendly, a lot more built around relationships, accepting your past self or getting over your own personal demons and like getting over that and making yourself a better person. It's a very positive story with obviously a outline or a dark story centered around it. But with this one, it's just something that you see with the characters and the colors. It just all comes together really well. And I'm really interested to see the rest of the story play out. And honestly, some of the personas are going to look amazing, because Persona 4, from the little I played, the designs that came from, specifically from the main cast, I think a lot of them are underrated as far as designs and even how they get them. I think Persona 4 to me looks like it was set up for Persona 5 with the palaces, which I hope gets carried over into Persona 6. So I hopefully, going into this one, I just have a lot of high expectations for it as far as me playing through this and finishing it. And you was definitely my least favorite out of the three Persona protagonists. I don't know if that's like a hot take or whatever. I don't really know how people feel about him in comparison to the other ones. Hopefully, like towards the end, I have like a stronger vibe towards him compared to his counterparts. Persona 4 Revival was kind of not really what I wanted to entirely talk about, as much as I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really hyped for it. What I really was kind of surprised to see shown so early, especially considering we saw the leaks and everything that happened, and seeing Persona 4 Revival shown at the Xbox showcase, I was thinking, okay, that's probably it for Persona. Then later on, we get the Persona 6 teaser, and everything that you kind of thought that you saw looks to be confirmed. Obviously, you got the green for the color palette for Persona. This one to me just off vibes, because there's not much else you can really derive from it. I'll go over some of the stuff that was shown in the leaks, but Persona 6 does seem to be like in my opinion, like we're kind of going back to a vibe similar to Persona 3. But I would not be surprised if this is the darkest, more, I almost want to say grimier version of Persona we're ever gonna get, because in my opinion, you couldn't go to something that was a lot more lighthearted like Persona 4. So I wanted to see them kind of go back to like their roots, because of what I know of Persona 1 and Persona 2. Those games just had like a very ominous. You didn't really know what you were getting into, but you knew it just seemed, kind of shadowy and dark going into it. This one, it's just the whole vibe of it is just different. Honestly, it reminds me of like the 2000s and just the type of trailers you would see, and it would be like some crazy action game that had like dark powers and all that stuff. With the rain coming in, you see what looks like tombstones in like a graveyard of some sort, and then it's all just dark, kind of hard to see, and you just see like a slow rise to eventually something that's shown. And it looks like it's in like some type of forest. The trees are dead, and honestly looks like a statue or something like that. Or it's really just hard to tell what you're looking at, but you could just tell from the vibe that off that picture, it's a lot going on. And then it cuts to all these flashes like it's a horror game. And really all you can make out of it is just you see a hand reaching for the shadow beforehand. You get these like images like an x-ray, teeth, people pointing. And it's like when I'm looking at all these fingers pointing, like they're pointing at a figure and they're pointing towards something. My first thought is like this is gonna be a cult based. So like there's gonna be some type of antagonistic group or maybe just like a society like world building thing where there's a cult involved and maybe we have to see what the cult is trying to do and create or summon, since we have the personas. So there's no telling what that could lead to. That's my first thought when I see something like this. And based off the main character, when you look at the design of this main character, and just from looking at the eyes just seem very, I don't want to say hopeless, but it just seems like he's not entirely someone you would just want to approach. Like out of the popular three, Persona 3, 4, 5, every main character for the most part is stoic, but there's a difference to all three. And with him, this character just looks like I don't really sense that he's gonna be like a joyful person. I'm sure he will be. Maybe that's like was like the contrast to how he looks. But then you have this the girl character who has the black hair with the red tint and looks like they're in I'm assuming a school uniform. Some people think it's gonna be college. I highly doubt that. I think they're gonna keep the whole high school aesthetic, so I don't think that's ever gonna change. I would love for it if it did go to college, but just looking at these characters and just like the models, if this is what they keep, it does just give off a vibe of like in a situation where it's hard to get out of, and the only way they have to get out of it is to do things they don't want to do. That's kind of the vibe that I get. And if that is the case, that would be cool. 'Cause that would be different if they did a Persona game of them trying to stop a cult. And in order to stop them, they're doing things that they wouldn't necessarily do, but they have to do it in order to get stronger. So if something like that would happen, I think that'd be nice. And that'd be a different approach towards storytelling. Because a lot of Persona is overcoming or acceptance. And it would be different to have an acceptance type arc or theme, but it's a negativity centered around it. And not even like a negative just to be negative and to like be dark, but like finding like light in dark situations. I feel like could be something that might be a theme in all this. I don't know. Not much we can really derive from, but just from looking at this, that's just the type of vibe I'm getting. And then for the music, we all know Persona is out of everything it's legendary for is the music. I'm not really sure with this type of vibe, what type of music they could pull off. I know Persona 3 was probably my second favorite, and then five and four is actually closer than I think a lot of people want to give it credit to. Persona 3 was amazing, especially like I just for some reason I just love 2000 stuff, especially like when it's done mixed with like some of the modern stuff. And I feel like Reload did that really good with recent soundtrack. Persona 5 was jazzy. Persona 4 was a lot more almost like popish. If I had to like put a title or a spin on it, this one I would not be shocked if like they kind of find a way to fuse like a I don't honestly blues would be really cool if they really could do it. I'm not sure if they have the people to do it, but they have like a blues type of vibe with it and maybe mix in like obviously maybe like some type I don't know if I want to do new metal type vibe to it with the guitars or something like that. I don't know. That's the type of vibe I would give it because I just cannot see like a Persona 4 OST over this. I can't. Even some of Persona 5s I can't see over these type of characters. So it is going to be fun to experience my first Persona around the same time as like other people, so like I don't have to worry about spoilers or going into it. I already know what to expect. It's just going to be everybody's going to be starting at the same point, which for me is new. So I can't wait to see all of that that's going to happen and whatever new things that they add. 'Cause I wouldn't be shocked if Persona 6 they add some new things to kind of test out and be innovative as far as like the combat, the turn-based system, what they add differently there, especially when they take some stuff from Metaphor to see if anything they took from there and they added into this one. Hopefully they do. There are certain aspects of Metaphor I enjoyed more than Persona when it comes to the combat. You all know the social links are going to be on point. I know some of you sickos are really just ready for them romance links, but Regardless, Persona 6 is going to be something that I'm assuming 2027, of course. It's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. And me being a JoJo fan, it's very funny to see like how many similarities there are between like how these games start and line up with Persona and JoJo. It's very funny. Like I remember people were anticipating a female protagonist for Persona 6, really just because of Jolene and Persona and JoJo Part 6, which was not the case. But regardless, we might actually get two in a way two protagonists. That would be really cool as well. I'm just really curious to see what they do, and I'm really hyped. I think it's going to blow expectations out of the water. I know a lot of people like wondering how can you top Metaphor, how can you top even like Persona Royal when it came out, or even Persona 3 Reload, because that was an amazing way to do Persona 3 to where a lot of people say it succeeds the past one so much. But I think they're going to do it. Atlas has yet to let me down, and I think they're going to do unbelievable things in Persona 6. So regardless, I can't wait for 2027. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed content like this. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.